Okay, I'm Dennis Hudson at orangequant.com, and I promised you a little video on inflections and how to trade them, and I'm doing this because I happen to know for a fact, in having to explain this to people, what an inflection is exactly and how to trade it. And we get our inflections by using FLIR2, which includes tau, iota, synthetic trend lines, and h2o5. So when we call an inflection in one of our video forecasts for you on the S&P, here is what you need to do. And I don't by any means mean to insult those traders who already know what to do. It's just that there are many folks who really don't know what inflections are. No shame in that. All right, this is an inflection, and I'm going to colorize it. I'm going to make it, green, let's say. This one right here, the one in the middle, is an inflection. It is showing a higher high and a higher low than the previous candle. Also, the candle which follows it shows a lower high and a lower low. That is what constitutes a true inflection, a technically true inflection. Now, I'm going to flip this over for you and put it over here. Let me flip it right quick. Flip vertical, there we go. Okay, now, this is also an inflection. This green candle here in the middle, this pattern on the right over here, because this green candle is exhibiting a lower high and a lower low than the preceding candle, and the candle that follows it is showing a higher low and a higher high. That's an inflection. And what this means for you is, looking at the left-hand pattern now, is that on this day, when it's an inflection, you know that if you can catch it somewhere up here near the top of it and short it, that the next day you should make a profit. And in the reverse, if this, and you're looking at the right-hand pattern now, this green one being the inflection, you catch it down as close to the low as you can, because you know that the next day is going to be a higher high. And it doesn't matter whether these candles are red whoops, that made a mess, didn't it? Are red or white or green, whatever. We're talking about highs and lows, folks. The other thing you can do is wait until the day after the inflection to enter. But there are problems with that, and I'm going to show you what the problems are. Now, looking at these two candles here, I just have two candles up now. If the green is a true inflection, you could wait until the next day to enter. But what might happen is this. You're planning to short, and that next day opens down here, and whoops, I'm trying to draw a line so you can see it. Okay, that next day opens down here, let us say, and all it does is go up. Well, that doesn't render the inflection invalid. It's still a true inflection. But what happened, you entered down here and it went up. Okay? And it still created a candle with a lower high and a lower low, except you just picked the wrong timing. Now let's look at it in reverse. Assuming the green candle was an actual true inflection, the following day you decide to enter at the open, and the open turns out to be something like this, and it just goes down. That still leaves the inflection day true, except you entered up here and you got out down lower. You lost money. That is, assuming you were trading long at that point. You were buying low and selling high, or you meant to buy low and sell high. Now there are two ways to beat this racket. You can enter on the inflection day, that green candle, or you can enter the day after, under certain conditions on both. Let us suppose that on inflection day, on inflection day, it set up a close that looked like, gosh darn it, that looked like this. Okay? Well, don't worry about whether this is a red or green candle. The close is up here along this line right here, okay? There, that's roughly where the close is at on that green candle. Well, you know from H2O5 that you're going to get a higher high the next day. So near the close on inflection day, you could just buy right here at near the close. That way, the next day, on this red candle to the right, it would open, let's say, up towards right there. And if you see it starting to slip downwards, you just get out and take your money. You made a profit. The other thing you can do is to enter the day after the inflection is supposed to happen. And if it shows that it opens, and I'm just going to draw a line here, if it opens decently below the high of the inflection day, let's say it opens down here, okay, and this upper part has not yet happened, let us assume, I'm just going to erase that for you, this part has not happened. You know that based on the inflection call that you're supposed to get a higher high. And sure enough, that candle does zip on up. Draw it in for you here. It zips on up to a higher high. So again, you made a profit. And that's what inflections are all about. Now, what to do if FLIR2 or H2O5 calls an inflection and it just doesn't happen? For example, let's say we had called the inflection for that green day right there, but instead it wasn't an inflection. It proceeded to the next day, red, and it invalidated the inflection that we called for the green day. Well, don't leave the table just yet, because this is where an experienced H2O5 trader can help you. We know that most of the time FLIR is right or H2O5 is right, even though it might be off a day or two. So what we do is hang on, and if it doesn't get too extreme against us, it will come on back and give us a profit. Just don't let it get too far gone. We call that a deadly Momo change, because FLIR identifies Momo changes as well as inflections. All right, I hope that was useful and helpful. I'm Dennis Hudson at orangequant.com, and if you want to learn to trade like this and forecast inflections from weeks away, get your copy of FLIR2 now at orangequant.com. What are you waiting for? You want to make money.